So, you've all been ushered out of the home of Oden, the wise woman in the woods. You know now that Dunny's arm, the cure that she could make him just from what she had on hand is only temporary. You need a sample of the source of the miasma in the that maybe, as far as you know, came from this pond in a sunken watchtower. She will. She'll also give you a vial to carry it in because obviously you shouldn't be touching this stuff with your bare hands. So she gives you something to carry it in. But that's kind of the situation. What would you all like to do?
Can we see the tower from here?
Yeah, there's kind of a clearing around her house. You can see it. It's in the distance. It'll probably take you maybe an hour or so to get there. There's no like good paths up to it. It's off in the woods. Because this is the people of the Dales this Dale don't actually know what this watchtower is for. It predates anyone currently living in Ravenholm. So it's a watchtower, but no one knows whose watchtower it was or what they were watching for. And you can see it is a little crooked because it has sank into the earth, and as it does, the bottom layer has filled with reportedly water and plants to form kind of a pond.
Well, I guess we should start walking toward it.
Yes, and hope the warden has good instincts on this.
Here's hoping.
Should probably keep our eyes open so we don't have something get the drop on us again.
Solid plan. Yes, good. Keeping your eyes open, always a good plan now that you've become well accustomed to the dangers in the woods. However, luckily, maybe because you're keeping your eyes open, you kind of leave. You're heading up a forested mountain trail away from Oden's and into the hills around the valley of Ravensdale, and then you kind of cut off the trail. It's still going up the hills. It's hilly, and it's kind of ominously overcast when you can see the sky through the woods overhead. And then you arrive in not quite a clearing. There's just like suddenly, boop, there's a watchtower. It's a decrepit building, obviously, since it sank partway into the grounds. It is wooden, or not wooden, excuse me. It is stone, circular. No doors that you can see. You're guessing that if there were doors, they are probably well underground at this point. There are a couple windows that you could probably pass through, which now would serve as an entrance. And you can peek inside to see that the tower goes down probably fairly far below what you can see, but you can see that it is in fact filled with a dark, kind of murky pond inside. And you can also, going away, not in the same direction you came from, but in what, if you think about it, is towards Ravenholm as the crow flies, you can see those wet footprints leading away from this tower and what look like low-hanging tree limbs clumsily chopped away with a sword. You can surmise that, yes, the warden his instincts were good, and this does seem to be where your awoken sentry came from and headed towards the village.
Are there any other footprints that we see?
Nope, just the ones leading away. Outside of that, it doesn't look like anyone has been to this watchtower in who knows how long.
Before we do anything, I want to see if there's like enough just branches or a piece of wood to turn into maybe a few torches for us if we're going to go inside this place.
Yeah, you can easily, because of the impact this guy had on the trees, you can easily find some some light or some torches to light before. Although there's not really anywhere inside to stand per se. Like you can look inside and you can look down into this tower, and it's just like it's a pond that happens to be sorta indoors. There's maybe some places that you could. So you can climb in the window to get there. There's maybe like a ledge that you can kind of stand on inside, but there's not a whole lot of room inside this tower. You're not going to be exploring it per se, other than maybe by swimming.
Rye's going to turn to Lissa and just, for the first time before the farm where he was joking about anything bad happening in an abandoned building, this time he is dead serious and asks, have you ever read anything about something like this before that could help us?
Dark, creepy ponds in abandoned buildings that anything could be hiding in.
We did get attacked by a pumpkin yesterday.
We did, exactly. That's the problem. I'm now thinking that any of these fairy tales might actually be real, or at least based on something that's real. So that kind of makes everything terrifying. I guess, are we, like, inside on the little bit of ledge that is there staring at the pool, or are we, like, looking through a window?
I think we're looking through the window.
Yeah.
Looking through the window into the pond, or the collected water.
Most of the things... Most of the things you can think of right now are... most of the things you can think of that are threats with old ponds are things that are, like, perfectly normal things, like water snakes, or vines that might catch your feet and pull you under. I will say that you do notice that there are a number of vines that have overgrown the tower and kind of crept through the stonework, and do thread down into the pond.
And we were just attacked by some vines yesterday.
Yes, these don't seem to be moving or trying to grab your legs. These seem to be the more mundane sort of threat, but you wouldn't want to dive into the water and get tangled in the vines and not be able to come back up.
I would like to say pick up a rock and maybe toss it in and just see if anything happens. And I'm going to pick up the rock and be about to do that, and then look at everyone else and just is this a terrible idea?
Okay. Does anyone want to discourage Lissa? Because otherwise, she's going to do this.
I'm just going to look at her yeah, do it.
Nope.
Yeah. Yep. Do it.
I'm going to chunk it into the middle of the pond.
Okay.
Just see if anything reacts.
So, two things happen when you throw the rock into the pond. At first, there are ripples as it hits the lake and sinks, and then you think you can see something slithering down in the depths, down past where your light will carry. And it's a fairly murky pond. You think you see something slithering down there, and it is. And you're like, water snake, and then you go, wow, that's a big water snake. But it doesn't come up to the surface or anything. But you may have roused whatever is down there. And for the second one, even though you all didn't see any people or any footprints, suddenly there is a person standing next to you. They're right next to Fry, also peeking into the window. They are wearing an outlandish mode of clothing you've never seen. This young woman is dressed in this clothing you've never seen anywhere in the Dales. And she peeks down and says, "Pardon me, travelers, are you thinking of going down there? It looks terribly dangerous."
Fry jumps.
Yeah.
Just and yelps. Not expecting this to happen.
I imagine it is startling. And she just kind of looks at you all. She has kind of hopeful looking eyes, as maybe you all are going down in there. And if nobody
Who
kind
are
of
you?
And she says, "Oh, I'm a simple pilgrim. I came through here and I'm looking for. I'm on the trail of an old family heirloom, which is coincidentally at the bottom of this pond. terrible, I know. I would just go and get it, but I'm not made for dangerous pursuits. And she kind of reaches to a little pouch on her side, and she pulls out a pouch, and as she does, as she holds it forward, it kind of jingles, and she says, "Please, if you'll retrieve my family's heirloom, you can have this whole pouch of coins." She kind of jingles it to emphasize how much is in it.
Do I believe this person?
That is up to you. Do you believe this person? If you would like to try to, I believe you have something related to lying in your powers. If you would like to make
Insight
a roll,
check.
if you would like to make a roll to try and discern something about about whether or not she's lying to you, you can make that kind of roll.
I do have a recognize false answers, which sort of backwards false statements.
Yeah. Okay.
I have protect our own. I'm concerned that she may be sending us into danger, even though I kind of think we're already sending ourselves into danger.
I like that one.
I think that's all I've got.
So I'll give you 2 additional things. One is your status, because you are on alert. So you can add that forewarned 4 since it is your highest status. However, I'm also going to give you a -1 and invoke your overlook danger and someone always needs help tags. Because your instinct is, oh, she needs help, I should help her. Wait a minute. So is that
just a +4 for the...
So a 4 for the status, and then 2 for the 2 tags that were positive, -2 for the 2 tags that were negative, leaves you
so just
a
4.
4. Yep, so 2d6 plus 4. And hopefully you didn't roll out all the good numbers while we were on break.
15!
15! Okay, wow.
I rolled an 11, and then I had 4, right? I'm doing that. I'm not messing up my math, am I?
So, yes! Nope, that's good. So here is what you can tell. She is... She seems sincere about giving you the gold if you retrieve what she wants from the bottom of the pond. She doesn't seem like she's going to like shove you down in there and hold your heads underwater or anything. But you sense that there's something more to her story about who she is or what she wants, and she's not entirely clueless about what's down there. Like you've seen her looking at the snake, but she also she's probably assuming that because you guys saw it, you are at least also aware of the dangers, and she's really hoping you're just brave enough to overcome them and bring her heirloom.
Can I ask her what the heirloom is?
She says, "Oh, of course. How foolish of me to send you after something without telling you what it is." She says, "There should be a chest of goods at the bottom. Anything in there that is not my family heirloom is yours to keep. But there is a single opal, the size of your palm." And she's kind of holding your palm to illustrate that it's the size of Fry's palm, not hers. She's fairly dainty. And she says, and that's what I've been sent here to get is the opal. Anything else in the chest is yours to keep.
So when she grabs my palm to show me the size of it, I can feel like this is a person.
Yep. As far as you can tell, she is a real true person, and not an illusion or anything weird like that.
Well, I was like more thinking like it's not a vine wearing skin.
No. It feels like a person to you. And
that's what I was... Okay. I just kind of like look at everyone or the other two. Just I don't know what to do. I don't want to go down there.
How did your family heirloom get to the bottom of a tower pond?
Truthfully, I was not expecting it to be a pond either. It's been there a very, very long time, possibly before it was a pond. As I said, I'm not made for such dangerous pursuits, and I was not expecting anything like this to be in my way. But you seem strong and capable, and she's kind of turning her attention to Dunny. She says, please, it's just, I know you're aware of the dangers down there. I'm not foolish. But surely you can just do this simple task for me.
Dunny looks
Sure,
between the
simple.
group and he's like, we could, I mean, we were going to look anyway, so why don't we help?
Her smile broadens. She says, really? What are you here? What are you here for? Pray tell. I'm sorry. I didn't even ask.
We're just up at some creepy tower for no reason at all. Yes.
Everyone loves being at creepy towers for no reason.
We're just investigating. We're looking into the source of some weirdness.
I see. She looks down into the water and she says, it's probably what made that snake so big. If it's... she says, I take it you've seen other unusual things in your travels here, then.
A couple
Yes.
lately.
She says, how about this? I also know some more info about, as you called it, the weirdness. And in addition to this gold, jingle, 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 I'll also tell you some more about the foulness below, in return for my opal.
Fry just kind of just he does the thing where he puts his fingers on the bridge of his nose and looks down and is okay, I guess
She says,
we're going down.
Listen, you've been quiet. What are you thinking about all this?
I think we have to go in anyway. I was wondering, so the pond is only in the tower. It's not like a pond surrounding the tower that's gotten into the tower?
Correct.
Do I understand this right?
Correct. It's
Okay.
like this tower sank over who knows how many years.
Oh.
It's several stories of it are now in the ground. And then rain kind of came in through the open windows and formed a pond over time. And then it's got plants and vines growing in it too. And apparently a big old snake.
I kind of think we need to go in anyway to find whatever's causing this. So.
All right. Who wants to go first and what are you doing?
I mean, Lissa, probably working at the river all day, probably has some kind of experience with water snakes. I don't know if this would...
I'd assume you'd also be the best swimmer out of all of us.
Probably. I really should have taken that swimming theme I was looking at. But no.
Really dive into the Little Mermaid theme, but yeah.
Yeah. I aggressively did not take anything that was useful to me in this entire adventure. Wow. I don't know. I'm good at hitting things. Maybe. So it's just a narrow ledge inside that's not in the water.
Yep. You get the feeling it may have been kind of a decorative ledge before because it doesn't really seem meant for people to stand on, much less the three of you. And then the lady who's kind of leaning in from, well, no, she's down there. I've already described her as down there with you. This ledge is mighty crowded now.
We're lucky when she surprised Fry that he didn't fall in the water.
He didn't fall in the water, yeah.
I mean, that would have been hilarious, but... we've got to... Unless it's like a friendly snake, which I kind of doubt. Maybe we could talk the snake down.
Nothing you've encountered around this miasma has been friendly so far, is what I'll say.
Have you brought your flute?
There was a theme for that.
Ooh.
Just like flipping through our books. Some things, maybe we could talk it down. No, probably not. Probably not. Tucks her book back in her jacket. you fight a giant water snake from a tiny ledge? Well, I think should we coordinate something? We've kind of stumbled around in the past.
Do we have rope in our backpack?
Yeah, that seems like a fairly normal thing to prepare for traveling.
So I've used hidden stamina reserves, but also one of the power tags I haven't used is quick climber. And I picked that as like when you're in the back of a kitchen and in a storeroom and you need to quickly move around shelves that may be bigger than you. Nimbly, like, I know they say you're never supposed to climb up a shelf in a storage room. Like, everyone has done it. I've literally seen it. Everyone does
Sometimes you're
it.
in a hurry.
So, Fry's going to propose. I don't like it. I don't trust you. And he just points to the girl that's here. Wrap this rope around me. I'll climb down and I'll see how far I can get to the water before something happens. I don't see anything else happening.
Okay.
Or I don't see.
So we're going to have you make a roll. This is pretty much to see how well you can avoid trouble. You can add up power like usual.
Yeah, the only two that I've got are quick climber and then the hidden stamina reserves.
Okay.
And can I assist him? Because I assume we're holding on to the rope up here. Just try and keep him steady, or maybe yank in one direction or another if he's getting into something.
You've got the gloves of grip.
Yes.
And I have test of strength.
Yeah.
Yep.
We both have strong as an ox, but we picked different tags to go with it.
Yeah, so if you guys want to help, you can each contribute one tag. But remember that if Nick rolls badly, this will blow back on everyone.
I know.
That sounds great. Let's do it.
All right.
Yeah.
So Nick,
I've been rolling heat lately. This is the time for 2 1s.
You have there you go.
Yeah.
Time for some garbage. Let's go. So +4.
Oh wow! It actually happened.
Oh no! What'd you do?
2 1s. I fail.
Oh boy. Okay. A lot of stuff happens all at once. Hold on a sec. I need to look at the tower. What's the tower?
I was joking.
This is
great.
Yep.
That's exactly what I wanted.
So the following things are now going to happen as the 3 of you fall into the water.
Okay.
So we're going to describe one by one. Each is going to get a status one by one, and then we're going to, for the first time in one of these games, try a resistance roll if you would like to try and resist some of them. And I'll explain how those work when it's time. Lissa, you fall in first. You fall in unexpectedly because I guess Fry was heavier than you thought. And you immediately get a mouthful of gross murky pond water. You will be taking the drowned one status. If you don't resist it. Dunny, you fall in right behind her. Same thing, because you're not really much of a swimmer, so you kind of fall right in. You will also, again, if not resisted, be taking the drowned one status. Fry, you were expecting support, and so you kind of nimbly-pimbly dived in full speed, expecting to be supported and able to pull back. You didn't get that. You went deeper than you expected, and a long shadow swims out of the water at you. And suddenly you are face to face with a gigantic snake, and you're like, oh good, it's going to swim right past me. And it does swim right past you so that it can circle around you and attempt to wrap around you. If not resisted, you will get the constricted 2 status. Start with Lissa. Would you like to resist drowning?
Yeah, I'm just not sure how I'm going to resist drowning.
Well, here's what I'll tell you.
Okay.
Resistance rolls work like this. It's a normal roll, except when you're adding up your power, you only add passive or reactive tags, like good instincts, alert, shielded, or in this case, your forewarned status.
Yeah, forewarned seems like a really good one to use here.
Yeah.
I have been staring at this water and thinking about the bad things, many bad things that could happen to us.
Yeah, let me see if there's anything else here that looks like it might work for you. You can't really block a blow because you can't block the water. I think forewarned is going to be your
I will
best
fight
one.
with the water.
Yeah, so luckily you rolled really good setting up that forewarned status, so you get a +4 to your resistance roll.
It's a 9.
Okay. Yeah, that's fine. So you will succeed. Um, so I think, okay, so you can spend your power on a reaction roll to avoid incoming status, which you'll need to spend one of them to evade the drowned one status. And then you can actually use the other 3 like normal. I'm going to say you may want to use another one to avoid the incoming status, which is the consequence I was going to give you is off balance 1 because of being surprised and needing a consequence from that reaction roll. So let's say 2 of your power to avoid that. You have 2 power to spend. Would you like to add a tag or a status to someone? Or maybe just go ahead.
Can I help Dunny prevent him from drowning?
You can. You can remove Dunny's drowning 1 status.
Yes, so I want to do that, and then I have 1 left.
Yep, you can also use the normal rolls for like a normal effect, which there is one that might be nice here since you're in the water all of a sudden. There is a 1 power effect you can add dice rolls called Discover a Valuable Detail.
I would like to discover a valuable detail about this about the pond. Like, do I actually see a treasure down there? Is the snake guarding it?
So you do see 2 things down there. Yes, you do see a treasure chest at the bottom. The kind of the steel banding on the outside looks solid and intact. So you at least have like something to grab it with to pull it up. It also looks big. It's a good thing that 2 of you are as strong as an ox, is what I'll say, because this is a heavy chest. The other one is that the snake does not appear to be guarding the chest so much as the snake appears to be trying to eat Fry.
Yeah, that's not good. That's unideal.
Yeah, so I'll say, Dunny, you don't have to do resistance roll anymore because Lissa kind of helps right you. But Fry, you still might want a chance to resist being constricted.
Yeah, I agree. I think the only passive one here that would work or apply is dodge harm.
Yeah, let me see. I'm looking at dodge harm is definitely the one that I think dodge harm is the one that fits most. I don't see any negatives that would apply to you here. So dodge harm. So 2d6 plus 1.
I mean, the snake could also can't resist the taste, but it's actively doing that. So,
it's trying to get a taste.
All right, so +1, 2. That's a 6 plus 4 plus 1 is 11.
Okay. On a reaction roll, you have your power plus 1 to spend, so you have 2, which is exactly enough to prevent constricted 2. So with a surprising amount of mobility, and I guess you had the foresight to hold your breath because you were the one who was actually going underwater. You kind of slip out of this snake's grasp. But there's the situation. All 3 of you are now in the water. There's a giant snake in the water. There is the chest at the bottom. What would you like to do? Let's go, Dunny. Dunny, what would you like to do?
Oh, we should probably deal with the snake, but I'm not quite sure how we're going to do that. I can't exactly swing a sword while floating in the water.
So I'll say
with an attitude like that,
you'll be able to. I mean, you can probably swing it, but there will probably be some minuses to your power for various things.
So, how big is the snake looking in compared to us?
It is much. It is not quite swallow you whole big, but it's much bigger than you've ever seen a snake being. It's probably the size of the pumpkin hydra. from the night
Ooh,
before. Yeah,
okay.
it almost fills this little pond.
Okay.
Mm.
Well, the good news there is it's going to be hard to miss it. Probably.
There you go. That's positive thinking.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I've solved every other issue with my swords,
With
so
violence.
let's just keep that going.
Alrighty. So go ahead and add up your power. I'm going to say you're going to be at a -2 to whatever your power is. One is from the underwater tag on the pond, and the other is from the swimmer status on the snake. It is much more agile in the water than you.
Sure.
But go ahead and add up your ridiculous number of tags around stabbing somebody, and let's have a roll.
Yeah, master crafted weapon. I love that thing.
That's good.
Help those in need, which would be all of us.
Yep.
And probably test of strength. I'm not structural weak points. I have a hard time actually using on this one, just because it's big and it would be hard to actually figure out where to strike.
Yeah.
So
This is definitely test of strength, though, because you are trying to swing a sword underwater.
it do be like that.
It do be like that sometimes.
So it's just going to be a +1.
Okay.
And that was a big old 4.
Oh no. Oh, that's bad. Okay. So you try to swing underwater, and you're like, oh no, this is bad. And the snake turns. I think maybe your sword just kind of hits it, but not at enough force to actually impact it. And it turns way quicker than you think it should be able to do underwater, and it swims like lightning. It is on you. It is biting your arm. You are now going to... And you can resist these as usual, but you will take 2 statuses at once. Wounded 2 and poisoned 1.
And we're back.
It's back, baby.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't... I will try to resist it with parry anything.
Yep. Yep. This is the time to use parry anything if you're going to do it. Try to get this thing a mouthful of sword instead. Okay.
Yeah, let's see. So it was +1, -2, so it's gonna be a -1.
Yes. So you're not. So I will say you're not affected by the status that you haven't received yet because you're trying to resist it. But you're still getting the -2 for underwater, and this time for the snake's mighty tag.
Sure. That is going to be a 9.
Okay. Okay. So your total power would have actually been -1, but you always have at least 1 power to spend. So you have the 1. Would you like to remove poisoned 1 or drop wounded down to a 1?
Let's drop wounded down to a 1. I'm starting to get used to being poisoned.
That is mathematically the better option because when you're taking a roll, you just take the tier of the worst relevant status. So if you have 2 1s, it's only a 1. Okay, so this thing, it bites you. It gets like maybe the tip of its fang in, and you kind of lever it off of you with the sword. And as it bites you, it's in the same arm that you're already wounded in, but now you have the line of poison that you had before had kind of faded. It's almost like a gray where where Odin's counter magic was working against it. Now you have kind of a second line of it radiating out of a bleeding hole in your arm from a snake fang. So it is poisoning you with the same kind of miasma as the ooze was inflicting on you.
Let me just say, quack.
Quack. Seems bad. Let's go to Lissa. Lissa, what are you doing? Dunny's actually fighting a snake now.
Yeah. And so they're underwater doing all of this, or is the snake come up above water? Okay.
No, it will attempt at all costs to stay in the water where it has the advantage.
Okay. While it is grappling with Dunny, I kind of want to like get on its back and kind of use that for leverage to like whack it across the head with my quarterstaff. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I see what you're going for. Okay. All right. So same as Dunny, you'll have a -2 for one for being underwater and one for
-2.
its. Actually, I'm not going to give it swimmer because it's not trying to swim away from you. So actually, it's just going to be a -1 for
Okay.
underwater.
And I will use gloves for a better grip.
Mm-hmm.
And protect our own.
Mm-hmm.
And can I use my relationship theme with Dunny?
Yeah, we'll allow it. Replacement little brother. You don't want to lose your replacement
Yeah.
little brother. And one for the quarterstaff.
And one for the quarterstaff. So that's 4. I lose 1, so it's a +3.
Yep.
I rolled a 12.
Nice. So that is an automatic success, and when you're spending power, you get an additional 1. So you now have 4 power to spend on this unequivocal success as you get in. Maybe it's the grippy gloves. Like you like rodeo wrangle this snake, and then somehow find the strength to clock it in the head with a quarterstaff with your other hand. How would you like to spend your 4 power?
So can I reduce Dunny's wounded condition? Is that a thing?
Not like this.
Or is it only okay?
Yeah. Since it would be more likely to give the snake.
Give the snake.
Statuses,
I want to wound the snake as much as I can. Can I do wounds 4 to it by just clocking it across the
You can.
head?
You can do
Yeah.
You can do wounded 4, and what I will tell you as you smack this thing with your staff, Dunny, you see its eyes go blank, and then you're still grappling Alyssa, and you feel all like the life go out of it. As this snake goes completely unconscious and just starts to sink to the bottom of the pond with you riding on it.
One shot.
One shot, baby.
Wow.
Yeah, its limit was hurt 3, and you did a wound of 4 straight to it.
Okay.
There you go. See, all that emphasis on smacking things finally worked.
Thank you, Dice.
Yep.
You came in for me when I needed you.
So you guys can kind of bob up to the surface and catch your breath now, and the lady's looking down like, oh, thank goodness you took that horrible beast out. Did you see the treasure down there anywhere?
Yeah, in a
it's
really
down
heavy chest.
Ooh, okay, please, bring it back up when you can do so safely.
Find some rope, please.
She'll kind of look where you probably took your bag off before you dived in, and actually the rope is in here with you guys because I remember you were tied to a rope that they were holding, and then they all fell in the water with you. So the rope is just floating on the surface of the pond.
Yeah, that's why I felt like her go find them because it's with us.
She'll be like, do you want more rope, I guess? And like if somebody left their bag up there, she'll look around and throw a second rope down to you.
So how far down is the treasure chest?
Oh, you want her to hold the rope. I get it. Okay, so what you can kind of get if you look underwater, it's murky, but you can see it, is that this was originally a 3-story tower, and 2 stories of it have sank into the ground. You effectively entered on the 3rd floor. So it's about 12 feet down.
Hmm.
You also, now that you have time to look around, without a snake trying to eat you, you think you can see at the bottom of the pond, not near the chest, on kind of the south wall, like the southern curve of this round thing, in the very bottom, you can see a crack in the ground, which normally you would just go, whatever, damaged stonework from where it sank into the earth. But if you look at it long enough, you can actually see oozy black miasma kind of creeping out of the ground. So you think you've
and
found...
that's under the water?
It is underwater. It is the
Oh, great.
The miasma, the source of the miasma that you need to get a sample for Dunny's arm seems to be also underwater.
And it's the water we're all swimming in.
It's the water you're all swimming in.
Okay, that's great. That's great news.
Mm-hmm. It's a good thing none of you were drowning.
Yeah, that could have been worse. I do assume that Lissa can swim.
Yeah, I think
And
I think you can all swim. You definitely can because you work on the water.
and she's probably good. She has familiarity with tying knots, so maybe she could go down and tie up the chest. So perhaps they could lift it up.
That's a good idea. Okay.
Yeah, Fry will remove the rope originally around his waist and hand it to Lissa.
Okay.
And I guess as she's doing that, Fry can take the vial down and try and grabs. I don't even know, like swoosh some of this miasma into it.
Alrighty. So we'll do one of these at a time. Let's have Lissa try to tie a rope around the treasure chest.
Okay.
Give me anything that sounds relevant to that. You're only gonna have a since you're not trying to do some. You're gonna get a -1 to this for underwater, but that's it.
Mm-hmm.
On top of
Okay.
of whatever you're trying to do here.
Let's see. Gloves for better grip to, have a good grip on the chest and the rope.
Should give yourself work smarter, not harder.
Works. That sounds good because I'm not trying to lift it up on my own, which would be ridiculous. We're going to tie and going to use
which also
leads teamwork.
Leads into my next suggestion, which is fellow laborers, because you're planning to work with your fellow
all
laborers
of my
to pull this
friends.
up. Yeah.
Teamwork.
Teamwork makes the dream work.
Yes. I don't think I can use Protect Our Own, which I've been using most of the time because it's really finding treasure is not exactly protecting anyone. Maybe friendly and kind. I'm helping this woman retrieve her definitely family heirloom.
You know what? I'll allow it. Friendly and kind,
okay,
gloves for better grip, work smarter, not harder, fellow laborers. That's 4.
That's 4 -1, so 3.
Mm-hmm.
That's an 11.
Okay, that's good. That is a success with no negative consequences. Okay, so I'm going to say that you go down, you tie the rope around it, and it's secure, and you've got it in such a way that it's most of the weight will be on the fairly intact iron banding on the chest. Mm-hmm. So what you've effectively done is you've created a tag on the chest. We'll just call it liftable 3. And when you guys roll to pull this thing out of here, you will add +3 to that roll for the positive liftable status. Now let's go towards Fry, who is attempting to, I believe you said, swoosh up some miasma. Let's get your roll. What do we got?
So, just I'm gonna use hit it in stamina reserves at a minimum to. I think that's the only one that I can use to hold my breath and dive down enough to grab it.
I was gonna say, are you doing any kind of your magic tricks for this, or do you not have any magic tricks that seem capable here?
I was gonna actually ask if that would be stretching it too far of just getting enough, like sort of using the same measuring logic for ingredients to get enough miasma to help with a cure, but not enough to like kill me.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Yes, I like that. Maybe you could also use the keep it from touching your hand while you're swooshing it. Yeah,
yes.
That's
okay.
fine. If you want to use simple magic tricks like that, I'm fine with that. So +2 -1.
All right, +1 overall. And it's
+1.
Roll. That is a 6.
Oh,
dang.
Okay. So you don't get any, and you get a consequence. Oh no. I think what it is it's harder than you expected. You thought, I'll just go down there, I'll scoop it in a vial, it'll be fine. I think what you find is it's almost like it can sense your intentions. It's almost like it dodges away from your hand. So you're like down here trying to scoop at this thing while trying to keep it from touching you, which it's definitely trying to do. It definitely wants to touch you. And I think you're down there longer than you really expected. And I think you take drowning 1.
Yeah, all right, that's fair.
Would you like to try to resist it?
I don't think. the only one that I think I can't dodge it. I can't
That's
quick
true.
climb out of it.
Yeah, I think you should be rolling a flat 2d6 for this probably.
Yeah, because I already used hidden stamina reserve, so I can't double dip. So this is just a flat 2d6.
Yeah. Again, you don't have to if you don't want to, because there is the possibility that if you roll a 6 again, you take further consequences. So if you don't want to resist it, if you don't want to tempt further trouble, that is an option for you.
It is, but I think I am going to resist dying by drowning just as a pure human impulse. I rolled 2 5s for a 10.
Alrighty. Yeah, that's exactly enough. You always have one power to spend, so you can use your one to avoid drowning. I think maybe what it is you feel yourself starting to go and you like jet back up to the surface, take a deep breath, and you can go back down there. You can try again in a minute, but now you have to plan around it. Dunny, what are you doing while all this is going on?
When Fry pops back up, Dunny is like, "Hey, give me the vial," and he's gonna swim down for getting the miasma.
Okay.
But he's going to use his arm that's already poisoned as a lure to try and get the miasma to come towards him. And then we'll try and scoop it into the vial.
Okay, so what I'm going to have you do is I'm going to consider this a roll to make a positive status, and then we'll try a second roll to actually scoop it. But let's try and make a positive status. You're going to try to make like distracted 2, basically on the room. So go ahead and make a roll. In this case, I think against all odds, your poison status is actually going to be a positive for you. So add 1.
Ooh, nice.
Yes.
That would be a 7.
Alrighty. Yeah. So I think what happens is this: you do create a status on the room. We'll call it distracted 1. Because you can create a 1-point status. You're attempting to distract the ooze. Unfortunately, I think what happens is you get a little too close, and you catch a little more ooze on your other arm now, raising your poison status to poisoned 2.
Yay!
Yay! Now you have matching cool tattoos. But whether you want to try to get the miasma or whether you want to let Fry try to do it, whoever goes next will have that distracted 1 status to aid them. Also, it's about this time that Lissa pops back up with a rope that was tied to the chest.
Hasn't noticed any of this happening at all.
They're just doing all this behind you while you're like tying your best knot. Try to remember what you learned about tying ropes around things. Go ahead.
I'll let Fry attempt to scoop it, as I'm apparently now the miasma vendor.
Yeah. If you're going back down, Fry, you'll actually see that rather than like pooling around the crack at the bottom or like following, like a little tendril of it is like trying to follow Dunny, but it moves very slowly because it's ooze. Go ahead and make another swooshing roll.
All right, so I get a +1 from the room for it being distracted.
Yes, but a -1 for underwater, so it essentially offsets the underwater penalty. Is what it is.
Okay, so I'm gonna use simple magic tricks and
stamina reserves.
And stamina reserves again, so +2 this time, and that'll be is 6 + 3.
Yes.
+2 is 11.
Alrighty, 11 does it. Cool. Yes, you can add to your backpack the tag miasma sample. You got it. You pop back up. You pop back up with a corked vial of goo. You can actually, if you watch it long enough, it actually kind of like weakly tries to like strain against the vial. Like it's constricted. It does not like it. If you take too long to get this back, you get the sense it might actually eat through the cork. But now all 3 of you are back up top, and Lissa has a rope to help pull that chest up.
So it seems like we got to help her get.
Yeah, I was gonna say who's. So we can do this as a group roll, or we can have one person roll, and everybody can contribute relevant tags. if you all want to do a group roll, the way that works, since you all are kind of working together, during a group action, each person contributes a single tag that is their most significant contribution to the joint effort. So let's do that. Chris, what is Dunny's most relevant tag here?
For what we're doing, test of strength.
Sounds good. Fry, what's your most relevant tag? Is it limitless stamina reserves?
No, it would be, since working together, it'd be either work smarter, not harder, or I assume that we need to do some sort of climbing out. So I'd climb to help get.
Yeah, that makes sense because you'll have to pull it up and onto the ledge with you. So climbing makes sense here too.
Yeah.
And okay. And then Lissa, what is the what's your power? And it's going to be at a +2.
I think fellow laborers, because we're, working together to lift something, and that's actually kind of like pulling the ferry across the river. This is very similar. This is familiar.
I like it. All right, so we've got one tag from each of you for a total of +3, and liftable at another +3 from the rope you tied around it. So give me a roll +6.
Who is making this roll?
You, since I think you're leading this group, actually.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
I believe in you.
Well, you shouldn't. That's a 9.
That's good enough.
Which, you know how badly I rolled to get a 9 of that.
I do.
Yeah.
Yes, you rolled a 3. You came very close to botching it. Yes, I get it.
I got that one really good roll, so this was coming. This is how it works.
Okay.
Karma.
So I think what happens is the following. You get the chest up, and I think you guys managed to you heft this thing up. Fry gets up top, and he's pulling from the top, and you guys clamber and pull this thing up to the top. But in the meantime, since your hands are wet, and they're not usually wet when you're using the gloves, I think that unless you resist it will burn your gloves for a better grip tag. What that means is it won't be usable until you can replace it narratively, which is probably getting another pair of gloves. You can resist that like most statuses. Or like most consequences, excuse me.
I'll try to resist it and just shift my grip a little bit, so but I don't know that I have any relevant tags. It has to be a tag that I did not just use.
Correct.
But I didn't use gloves for a better grip.
Correct. You used fellow laborers, I believe. So yes, you can try to maybe grab one with the other. Allow that.
Yeah, I'm trying to adjust my grip to where they don't slip off or get burned or damaged as I'm. I'll give it a go. I think that's just going to give me +1. I don't.
Yep.
Yeah. I know that's a 4, so that's even worse.
Yeah, we'll just yeah, your gloves are gone. They're down at the bottom of the pond now.
Well.
I think they actually pass through the tendril of miasma on their way down. So if you go get them now, they're also gross goopy gloves.
I probably needed a new pair of gloves anyway.
It does. But in the end, though, you were all out of the water, sitting on this ledge, soaking wet with this murky water, with a treasure chest right next to you. And the lady who's looking for the opal is practically dancing with joy, and she drops the coins next to you. She says, "Here, this is all yours. How do we open it?"
Fry, having nearly died, is gonna look at her with a side eye like, "You wanted your heirloom."
It's funny because Fry's giving her the side eye, and Dunny's like, "I can do it," and just takes the sword and using structural weak point, figures out where best to strike it to smash it open.
Luckily, the weak point of this chest is pretty much everywhere, because now that it's out in the open air, the wood is completely soggy. This thing is almost like the outline of a treasure chest once you're done with it. The banding is there. And inside are 3 objects. There is a sword, untarnished by rust or decay. there is a strange vial holding a swirling bright blue liquid. And there is an opal, as said, big enough, the size of Fry's palm, that if no one stops her, she is going to swoop up off the floor.
It's what she asked for. I'm not going to
Okay.
get in the way.
No, I will grab the vial of other liquid.
Okay. Okay. You can add vial of blue liquid to your backpack. And
I mean, I think Dunny's gonna pick up the other sword.
okay. All right. Dunny now has 2 swords, and as soon as you guys take your eyes off of her, she vanishes. There is no trace of her, and the opal is also gone. She gone. Oh wait, no. Hold on. I lied. I lied. I'm retconning that because she also said she would tell you about the miasma if you got it for her. So she kind of slips the opal into a palm and she says, "So that," and she's kind of indicating the vial that Fry came out of the water with. She says that is a very old spirit that should not be here. The fact that it's burrowed this far is it's not fantastic for the region. She says there are. Are you familiar with the marshes to the southeast of the Dales? And the only marshes that would be big enough to just be called the marshes are so southeast. Ravensdale is kind of in the southern end of the Dale lands, and the only place that would just be called the marshes is an entire region to the southeast that is literally just like a swampy nothing. Like nothing good comes out of the marshes, is what you all know. And she says that is a remnant of the Great Thaumaturge War. Unleashed. That thing unleashed created the marshes, but we believed it had burrowed deep into the ground. The fact that it's chosen now to come back out is an ominous sign. She says, I hope you have someone who can cure your friend, she says, indicating Dunny's arm.
Yeah, we got that covered.
Oh, thank goodness. She says, do you have any, since you were so kind to retrieve this for me at great cost yourself, is there anything else that I can, I can mostly give knowledge, but if there's anything else you wish to know, I can tell you before I leave.
Should we expect more of these things?
Walking
Dead and whatever else?
She says, if not cleansed from this pond, I fear that anything that spends time in its depths could be susceptible to the miasma. Yes.
Huh.
You saw what it did to the snake. Who knows how long it's been living down there? If one of the wakened sentries made its way to a town, then yes, your lands may be in danger.
I want to ask, you know a lot about this. Where can we find you?
She says, "Oh, you'll never find me again." And she just kind of smiles.
What?
Says, I'm not from around here. And now that I have what I was made to retrieve, I'll be leaving.
Glad we could help.
She kind of smiles and thanks, does a funny little bow, and then poof, literally just like vanishes before your eyes.
I think I need to sit down.
It seems like a good time for that.
Yeah, we all probably look like drowned rats at this point.
Yes, you're all like wet, and some of you probably have like algae stringing off of your clothes because this is a weird, gross standing pond.
I did like those gloves.
I have poison going up both arms now.
We're gonna handle that. We're gonna handle that. You're gonna be okay.
Actually, Dunny, you took the sword, right?
I did.
You will note that there is a maker's mark on the cross, the handguard of the sword. It is the same maker's mark as the helmet that you've been carrying around.
Oh, interesting.
You can reason that they may have been commissioned as a set. and may have once belonged to the thing that stumbled out of the tower.
The plot thickens.
Dun dun dun.
Hmm.
The plot does thicken. Fry, what are you up to?
I've seen a lot over the last day. After we get out the tower, everyone sits down, but I kind of just collapse back, like laying flat on my back and staring up into the sky until we're ready to go back to Oden and get Dunny fixed.
Well, luckily, it is calm. It is those overcast clouds never do turn into rain, so you don't just flop down on your back and then also get rained on, because that would just be one more thing on top of this day.
Thank goodness.
There is truly no sign of the woman whose opal you retrieved. In fact, you realize that you still see no footprints except your own and the awakened sentries heading towards Ravenholm's.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would like to see what's in this coin pouch. Did she give us like 1,000,000 gold, or did she give us nothing, or?
Yeah, she gave you a fairly sizable bag of gold. You can add bag of gold to your backpack if you needed to buy something with it. It would definitely give you a positive.
Like a really nice pair of gloves.
Like a really nice pair of gloves, exactly. Which you need.
Gold is also cursed. I'm kidding.
The gold also vanishes. No, that would be evil. No, she did in fact pay you. Okay, so you guys can recover. You can find your way back to Oden's fairly easily by following your own footprints back. And as you're sitting down and preparing, she'll take the miasma sample, and she does prepare a passable, I guess, anti-miasma. Not really an anti-venom, because it's not really poison. An anti-miasma. Dunny, you can remove your poison status, and you don't have to worry about the other one coming back anymore.
Yay.
But you guys have a lot of time to reflect now on what honestly is a lot of questions. Why is evil seeping out of the ground here and now, and near Ravenholm of all places? Who was that weird lady, and why did she want that opal so badly? And if you venture into the marshes for yourself, what will you find? But those are questions for another time, because that is the end of our adventure today.
Woohoo! We lived.
Yeah.
That was
Well,
really fun.
we did it. We did indeed survive. That's the goal.
did
The goal.
You did it. I'm very proud of you all.
Oh, that was a fun one. That was a fun one. It's different, and it's interesting how freeform the characters are. It's not like, okay, you're making this roll. What's your dexterity modifier?
Yep, it's how much of your character is relevant to what you're trying to do more than anything.
Yeah. So it's kind of all character based. It's like, okay, how good are you? How good did you decide you are at this or that or something else?
And there's always something for you to do. Like maybe you don't have something that bonuses your roll this turn, but that doesn't mean you still can't try.
Exactly. You can try. You can maybe the best you can do is make a status that helps somebody else in the future, which is it's never, well, I can't do anything here.
I do like the. I feel like the freeform construction of, like, I know that's oxymoronic, but how challenges and encounters go kind of really opens it up more than how something like 5e is like, okay, I'm going to cast this spell and then hit it and then I am done.
Yep.
Like
there's occasionally like lots of ways to overcome things with challenges. Like all of the creatures that you all encountered that had miasma have a second limit for cleansed. So if you all had maybe, like, if one of you had been like the old one from the Tinderbox demo who follows the old ways and knew like a way to cleanse the miasma, like that's a second way of overcoming the challenge. Things like that. So we're like all three of the statuses that were added to the villagers, any one of them, if they went over the limit, overcomes that challenge, but with different effects. So like if Eleonora had gotten the rally status big enough for the crowd, then the crowd turns into a militia, and you see a bunch of villagers take off in the night with pitchforks, and who knows what happens to them, or things
That
like
ever ends poorly.
No, armed militias, poorly armed and poorly trained. Nothing has ever happened badly there. So, but I'd like to thank you all for playing, and I'd like to thank everybody at home for listening.
Blizzard Watch is made possible due to the generous contributions at patreon.com/blizzardwatch. Your continued support means that this podcast site and community is able to thrive and grow. Blizzard Watch supporters enjoy exclusive benefits like early access to the podcast, a better chance at having your question answered on our podcast with a queue, and an ads-free site experience. Thank you very much for joining us. We'll see you next time.